back over the history of what happens when there's a recession. There's always riots and stuff like this. What I don't agree with is the fact that people's lost their homes, like the businesses that were burnt down and stuff like that. But it's the times that we live in. Like, what can we? There's not a lot that we can do or say that the majority of people that live in Tottenham were not involved. It was just a few that thought they would take it too far and then use a sad, something that was really tragic that happened as an excuse.
When you say tragic, are you referring to the shooting of Mark Duggan?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, and how do you think that's impacted this community?
Well, that's my feelings about it are so confused. I can't say something straight. Like, the police should never have done that. They can't get away with that. But there's ways to go about it, and the riot wasn't the way to show them. If he was going to burn down any place, he should have burned down the police station, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. But that's about it. And
do you feel like, you said lots of people that we've spoken said this was bound to happen. Why do you think that? I know you've put it in the context of the recession, but tell me more on a personal, you know, in terms of your personal understanding experience, why do you say something like this was bound to happen?
Because just people living in poverty. Like, I think there's not one specific reason why things like this happen. It's a build-up of things, and people have had enough. And then basically their way of getting back at the government was to riot. But I don't think they rioted. They didn't get back at the government, and they didn't riot in the right way. Simple as that.
Because some people said it's just been sheer greed. Then it's people that don't have control.
Yeah. Greed as well, because the looting wasn't necessary. If you was trying to make a statement, you should just let it all burn.
But don't you think that sometimes about poverty? Because I've seen images of people looting Riot, and not just trainers. Do you think there's a question of poverty that people, like you said earlier on about a recession?
Yeah, poverty has got something to do with it. I know people right now that because they're not earning as much, they're losing their homes. And I know two people that are actually having to share a 3-bedroom house, and they've got partners and families, about 8 of them in a 3-bedroom house, because that's the only way they can live because of what's going on now, all the government cuts and stuff. So
you've got to remember as well is that, like, this only happens underneath a Conservative government, because if you look back when Maggie Thatcher was in power, the same thing happens with the riots. You know, with Labour said that they were going to up the minimum wage, they were going to do this for families, they were going to do that. Conservatives haven't done anything. When David Cameron made that speech the other morning, all he talked about was thuggery, gangs. He never touched on the real situation where, like, there's poverty. Do you know what I mean? If mothers are like, they're single mothers, they've got no job, they're on benefits, they cut their EMA in Harringay. So the mother's got to balance rent, food, babies, getting their kids to college, paying for their food and stuff like that. What do they expect? You know, they never touch on that situation. They always just touch on, oh, this gang culture. It's got nothing to do with gang culture. It's what's going on around you. Nick Clegg's never been to Tottenham until the other day. And then they asked him, well, have you been here before? He's looking around like, no. Do you know what I mean? He's looking in like sheer shock. No, you shouldn't be shocked, because we're a product of our environment. If you don't create the environment that's safe and we have money and we're able to feed our kids and stuff like that, what do you expect? Kids are going to run riot. I'm not excusing what they've done, because this is ridiculous. You know, this is absolutely ridiculous. But something drastic had to be done. But I genuinely think if we all came together, if all those people from up north came together and we came down in a silent protest, do you know how powerful it would have been?
Exactly.
Do you know how powerful it would have been? A silent protest, no one says anything. Everyone marched to Parliament. Do you know what would happen? It'd be a bloody revolution.
So what stops us from doing that? If we felt so much, if people felt so much...
I'll be very honest with you. They were young, they were uneducated, they were ignorant, yeah? If us elders sat down and said to them, look, let's have a strategic plan, let's go out, silent protest, no one says anything, I am telling you, they would have listened to us.
But is it too late to do that? Because the problems that you're both speaking about still exist.
No,
so what in terms of what are the solution? How do we turn this around?
It's not too late to still do that. It's not too late to still do that.
But then we've been tarnished because of things like this.
This is what it is.
So how do we counter that? Can we counter that? Because all those things that you just spoke about still exist. The issue of poverty still exists. So how do we stop something like this not happening the next time there is a recession? So what I hear you both saying that we have to tackle the issues of inequality, injustice and poverty. Is that right? So any solutions on how we do so?
I think the main thing is that as a black community, we need to come together. We need to pull together. If we all pulled together, then it wouldn't have been like this in the first place. Still do the march to Parliament, because you know what, even though we've been tarnished by all of this, to know that we can all come together and still do something good can come out of it, will still show government and middle class white people that, do you know what, like they're a force to be reckoned with.
Because if you look around, we've been here since what, the 60s and 70s, right? When the racism was in rife, right? Black people don't have enough. We've been here longer than anybody else, and we still don't have enough. The Polish come here, they set up their business, but because of how we are and how they've sort of grown us, no one wants to help each other. That's the realist of the fact. No one wants to help each other. Then people get greedy. This happens, that happens, and it becomes ridiculous. No one pulls together. That's the only one thing I can say. No one pulls together in the black community.
How do you think for you life has been living in Tottenham? Has there always been an issue? Because I think I read somewhere that Tottenham has the 4th highest rate of child poverty in London.
Growing up wasn't easy, don't ever get me wrong.
I don't live in Tottenham now.
So what made the difference of you two? You two have grown, and you're obviously articulate young ladies and law-abiding.
Yeah.
So what made the difference to you? What made the difference in your life?
Well, from a young age, my mum went out to work, yeah? She was a single mum at the end of the day, and she had to go out and work, and I had to understand that. They used to leave me in the house with my sister, or my nan used to raise me. Do you know what I mean? I had to understand that. It's just about how you bring your kids up as well.
But do you think the government is taking power away from parents? Because I'm hearing a lot of that.
Because then, this is the funniest thing. On the news, they were like, oh, call your children in, tell them to, you know, behave and stuff. But then you give them things like childline.
Yeah.
Could you think that when I was younger, and my mum told me not to do something, do you think I could be like, I'm picking up the phone to call social services? My mum would give me the phone.
Yeah, of course.
My mum would give me the phone.
Even now, if I discipline my daughter and she ever turned around and said to me, Mum, you can't do that, I say, all right, then let's both go to the police station because I'll beat you up inside there. Like, just as simple as that, because I'm not having a bar of it. That's not how you're being brought up.
No,
you're going to be brought up to be law-abiding. Use your mind to fight people, not your fists.
Or anything else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to know where you can listen to it?
Yeah.